to PatFacts. It is a Wednesday here for our weekly kind of episode of helping you be better, helping you be even more operationally fit to kind of go along. Hey, Bonnie, to complement what we do in the fitness center, in the gyms, and our workouts. And tonight we're going to talk about planning, like the great Hannibal used to say from the show The A-Team. If you remember that show, I love it when a plan comes together. There's something satisfying about having a plan and having it come together, having it work out for you at the end. And tonight specifically, we're going to talk about holiday planning. And I know the holidays are a little bit away, but they're coming fast and they're getting here. The stores have their stuff out already. Ours has had it out for quite a while already. And before you know it, it'll be here. And we already had a holiday really with Thanksgiving that kind of kicks in that holiday season. And now with things being more open and us being able to get together, there's maybe going to be a few more events coming up this year than maybe in the past couple of years as far as holiday parties and things. So we wanted to take a quick moment to just go over a few strategies to help us have success so we can keep on track with our full year plan or our permanent plan that's been going on for however long you've started it to get towards your goals for this year. We want to make sure we don't get too derailed from those plans. So we're going to plan for our holiday season, our holiday events, so that we don't get derailed too much from our everyday plan, our big goals that are coming on. So you don't have negative self-talk or self-doubt or anything come into play when we're trying to stay true to our goals, but at the same time enjoy ourselves and have fun and enjoy the holidays a little bit, which is what they're all about. So we're going to get into that a little bit tonight to have plans. So again, we can start now to get ready for some of those holiday events that are going to come up, because again, not everything just happens on the 25th or leading up. There's weeks and sometimes even a couple of months before when things start, depending where you are and what's going on and trying to get schedules in check. So we're going to start now to put at least the framework together. And if not, get a solid plan in place so that again, we keep our success rate high during the holiday season. We don't worry about, are we going to miss our day? Are we going to fall off the wagon a little bit? Again, those doubts don't have to come in, and that negative self-talk, hey Alain, bonjour, doesn't have to come in because we set those plans in place to help us carry forward. So we're going to mention, hey, Bonnie's here, and it's a Wise Ones reunion without those other chatty guys. It's almost better. And Bonnie kind of starts us off with a good tip here. She says, I guess carry a lot of water with you helps the appetite for sure. That's a big plan, big part of our plan for the holidays, that we want to keep some water with us. With whatever the event is, it does help the appetite, like Bonnie said. And a lot of times when because we feel hungry, we're actually thirsty, we're actually a little dehydrated, and we need to bring in some of those fluids. So carrying water with you can help that. It helps keep you feel a little more satisfied. You don't get that hungry feeling so much that can maybe, again, lead you into some temptations and some maybe poorer choices. And again, we're going to be out. It's going to be cold outside, warm inside. Heat is on, and maybe in the malls or in these places. If we're in a mall, maybe we still have our coats and hats and things on, running in and out. We have to adjust to temperature change and dry air and stale air we've talked about with heat and things being on. So we need to have that water with us to make sure that we're getting that hydration in to help us perform better, help our cells do what they need to do, have our brain, our mind function the way it's supposed to, our muscles and all the cells in our body. And again, to help sort of limit that hunger feeling so we don't make those poor choices when there's a place over there to grab a burger or a sub or something that maybe, again, isn't congruent with what our goals are, what our habits that we're trying to create are. So that's a great start, Bonnie. Thank you for that. Yes, always carry lots of water with you. And the recommendation right now is to drink half our weight in fluid ounces a day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you would want to drink 100 ounces of water per day. So think of that. That's why I like these cups, my shaker cups, because they're marked in ounces and milliliters, so I can kind of keep track of how much I'm taking in. So I'm trying now to figure out the ounces that I need each day and know that I need X number of bottles of water of these to make sure that I'm getting my amount in. But you could also, if you have a a water bottle that's not marked, fill it and then pour it back, excuse me, into a measuring cup. And then you'll see what it holds. And again, you can figure that sort of thing out. But having this with you to sip on, again, maybe keeps you from going to the pops or the sugary juices and drinks that are out there with you, because again, you've got your water, and it saves you a little bit of money too from buying some of those extra things. So that's a great Atlantis is not a fan of water. Honestly, I'm not either. Water is a big struggle for me, although I know the benefits are huge. I do 3 to 4 herbal teas a day. It is kind of water, but the tea sometimes to be a bit of a diuretic, so it actually makes you go to the washroom more often because of what's in the tea. Coffee is the same thing. There is water in it, and you do get a little bit from that. But at the same time, it does make you go to the washroom more often, so you flush out more of those fluids. So best you can, try to break some water in as best you can. I've got some BCAAs in mine, some branched chain amino acids, a bit of a supplement in mine tonight, just to help with a bit of recovery from the day. Have a bit of an active day at work, lugging heavy boxes and things around, so it helps with some recovery, and it gives the water a bit of taste for me, because I'm like you, and I'm not a huge fan of water. Water intake is something I struggle with a little bit. Then I find, so if I can put a little something in it, it does help. Things like juices, or sorry, not juices, but natural like fruit. If you get some lemons, some cucumbers, maybe some berries, you can get a bottle. This bottle, if you can see, has the shaker in the middle of it. You can kind of see the piece there where the shaker goes up and down, but you can get them actually with diffusers or infusers in them, where you can put your fruit and stuff in the infuser, and then it infuses the water with the flavor. But you don't have to worry about choking on a grape or a strawberry or something as you're going through. So there's different options there as well that maybe help you look for your different intake. Hey Mel, welcome. Water reminder. Yeah, I always need that water reminder. She mentions homemade herbal tea also. Fluid is fluid, or lemon and water. Yeah, herbal tea is better than nothing. You are getting something in, but again, keep in mind, if you can have a bit of just actual water with that too, it does benefit the body. But if you're getting those herbal teas in, it is something. But again, a bit of lemon in water is a common one. Cucumbers, a lot of people like to put cucumbers in water, even some berries, some strawberries and things like that as well. And again, sometimes with those infusers, again, that keeps the actual berries or whatever it is you're using out of the water, so you don't have to worry about drinking those per se. Or you can get a couple of bottles out of it, because the flavor will get back into the water for you. And again, it's a little more natural. There's not as much processed sugar and things in there for you to take in, so it's better for your system, and the flavor helps with our water intake. Hey Andrea, welcome. Alan, no matter what you drink, you definitely go to the washroom more often. He goes like a racehorse. That's okay, Alan. We're all friends here. We can share that, and that's good. It's your system flushing itself out. We just want to make sure that when we're taking in our foods and things, that we're kind of getting the nutrients we can out of them, so we're not maybe flushing things out of ourselves too soon before we get the chance to really absorb what we need out of them. So water, and some people recommend even water with a little pinch of some Himalayan salt in it to help with the absorption, the electrolytes and things, especially if you're being really active. There's a few different strategies out there. It's kind of one of those things, like a lot of nutrition and a lot of even fitness. There's a lot of kind of self-experimentation or preference out there. So it's really about finding what works for you. And again, research in the field is quite young and new. So there's not really a tried and true method. Water is the preferred method as usual. But for some people, again, like Mel said, if it's tea and they're getting some fluid in, that's some fluid. If you have to put a little bit of, maybe dilute a little bit of juice or something to limit the sugar, but still get the flavor and get the water intake, sometimes I'll help clients with that a little bit, just to again, get the intake in. And for some, it's getting the coffee down a little bit and getting the water intake up. I had a client, one time we met, she was having 6 coffees a day, which was her choice, but they were like doubles and lots of sugar and things. So we scaled back a little bit. We reduced that a little bit to smaller coffees, and then reducing the number, and let's try singles instead of doubles. And then let's try to go to black if we can, or find a different alternative to sweeten things a little bit, or look at things like herbal teas, or decaf to limit the caffeine if someone needs that, or again maybe just a different version, and switching to a little bit of water with that. So again, it's kind of personal preference. There's better choices. We want to do the best we can, but it's hard to be 100% one way all the time. So you'll get some fluids from other sources. Again, water is just the preferred sort of natural choice as much as we can. Even if you're having your glass of wine and things in the evenings, have your wine, but have some water after it as well. And we'll get to that too as we go through a few different things here. So water is our big kickoff, and that's going to kind of carry on to a lot of these things. And one of the first ones I'll mention, kind of the events over the holiday season. Hey, Andrea, welcome back. Hopefully your connection is okay. Is holiday parties. We're going to have maybe people over to the house. Maybe you're going to go to a friend's house. I know even between Thanksgiving with Halloween, we could have had some parties, and leading into Christmas, maybe American Thanksgiving or Black Friday type things, depending on what it is you take part in. So we want to make sure we're preparing for these events. They're going to happen again, hopefully now, because things are a little more open where you are. There's a little more chance to get out and see some people and go to a friend's house or have people over to the house to enjoy a little human touch and social interaction. So we want to be prepared for those. So the first step, we've already talked about it, is drinking lots of water. During the day leading up, you want to keep drinking your water, keep that intake in you. So again, the cells can do what they need to do. Your body can stay hydrated. Your brain is clear. You can have a good, successful day, and then go into that party in a good mindset, for one, by feeling better, performing better because of your water intake. And then again, you make good choices. And as we mentioned, as Bonnie mentioned, the water hydration helps with your appetite a little bit. We don't feel so hungry. So again, we can make better choices. We don't maybe overindulge or binge a little bit when we get to that party, because again, we feel full because we've had our water intake. And again, if you're having some cocktails at the party, we want to drink before. We want to have our water. During, we want to have some water in between our drinks, and after, to help avoid that hangover feeling potentially the next day. And again, to help the body process and flush out some of the alcohol and the effects of the alcohol to our system and stay hydrated. For a lot of us, again, alcohol kind of creates that dehydration feeling. That's a bit of the hangover, is that dehydrative state. So if we can drink the water, it'll help eliminate some of that. And again, if we feel fuller, maybe we don't have quite as many drinks, and we'll probably make better choices if we're having snacks at the party. If you have a couple drinks, you usually want to have a couple snacks as well. And then sometimes you can make those poor choices. So if we're a little fuller with our water, and again, it can lead to some better choices going through. Speaking of that, nutrition-wise and snacks, we want to eat before we go to that party. So a lot of times we'll maybe eat a good breakfast, and if we know we're going to the party that night, we won't have too much during the day, so we can enjoy ourselves at the party. What we want to do, though, is still stay within our routine and eat our meals and have a meal or at least a snack before you go head out to that activity and that party. So that, again, we don't feel hungry. We don't overindulge when we get there. We don't overdo. We don't maybe binge on these great party favors and snacks or meals, whatever the case is. Because again, we feel fuller, we feel a little satisfied. So maybe we just nibble on things or have a snack or have a bit of a meal, but kind of at a nice pace. We don't inhale it, we chew it, we enjoy the food. Maybe it's in between conversations that we're just having some snacks or a late meal. So again, we're not inhaling it, and then we feel kind of lethargic and a little gross afterwards, and don't enjoy ourselves. And again, that can lead into the next day as well, where we don't feel so great from having all that food or having it too fast. We can get bloated and feel uncomfortable. And then that could affect the next day as well, where maybe we miss out on our workouts or don't enjoy some of the events we're supposed to have, because that food hangover is kind of there, not just an alcoholic hangover. So try to eat something before you go. Either, again, stay on your routine with your meals, and then either have a meal before you go, or if it's an eating party, a mealtime party or event, where the meal is included, then lots of water through the day, but then also have at least a little bit of a snack, something to help you feel a little fuller, maybe help you kind of energize a little bit to feel good before you get to the party, but to, again, keep ourselves feeling kind of adequately adequate with our nutrients and our food, so that again we don't overindulge when we get there. We enjoy ourselves, we have our fun, but we don't overdo it. Because as you know, if we overdo it, then that can lead to maybe that sort of maybe negative talk of, oh, I went and I ate too much and I shouldn't have, and I always do that, and I've just messed up 3 days of healthy eating. We want to try to avoid some of that negative self-talk, and again, having a heavy meal, or again overindulging a bit, maybe that affects our workout the next day, where we don't get things in because we don't feel as energetic as we should, and we don't feel as good. And then again, that leads to more of that negative self-talk and that self-doubt, and then that can snowball into those, maybe the party affects us days after because of some choices we've made. So again, it's all putting things in place beforehand so that we can make the best choices and see those results, and thinking kind of long term, not just at the party, but even a day or two after, we feel better as well. I just want to pop here. Andrew says he tries to have 3 shaker cups a day. So again, we talked earlier. That's great, Andrea, to have that goal and work through it. The recommendation that I've been seeing is half your weight in fluid ounces. So just for an easy example, if you're 200 pounds, you want to have 100 fluid ounces of water a day is roughly your goal. So again, like I mentioned with the shaker cups, I like because they have the measurements on them, so you can know how much that's supposed to be, and you can use that sort of as your guide. Or again, use a measuring cup in your regular water bottle, or whatever it is you use. Even like I have a Gatorade water bottle that has a clear spot on the side and a bit of measurements. You can kind of figure things out as well. Andrew says also, I tend to not eat much during the day because when we do our extended family Christmas, there's a ton of food. Yeah, there is a ton of food. But again, if we don't again, if you don't always eat during the day, again, we get to that food and that party, and there's a ton of food and it's all there and it smells so good, and we just kind of dive in, and sometimes again we just overdo it a little bit, and then we feel bloated and full and not so great afterwards and heavy. Whereas if we can have a little bit of food, even just our regular foods during the day, our stomach has been working, our digestive system has been working a little bit. People kind of call it almost stretching your stomach a little bit, kind of moving things around, but just the digestive system working a little bit has it prepped so that when you do have that dinner and that good meal, it's not going into overdrive right away. It's not trying to kind of overcompensate and get things going. It's been working, it's been doing things, it's been using the stores. We talked before about using the stores you have in your body, and how eating is almost like putting a little bit of coal in the fire, or a little bit of log on the fire. It kind of keeps it going and burning. So we want to have that going on throughout the day. So that again, when we get to that party and that event and we're having some food, again, it kind of replenishes what we need, or our metabolism is already going and working for us, so that again, we don't kind of overdo it and again, make poor choices. I've been there where I again keep things minimal during the day, so I can really enjoy myself and dive into that food at night. But then again, that fullness kind of hits you, and again, it can carry over into the next day, where digestively you're trying to process things, even in the evening, trying to get some sleep, which we all know is so important. If you're really trying to digest all these heavy foods and sweets, or these big meals that was maybe your main meal of the day, that could affect your sleep that night, which again could affect you the next day into working out and even your nutrition. And as in fact, in the case of, again, making poor choices, if you're tired, you're probably going to make poor choices when it comes to nutrition and what you're going to eat the next day and how much water you're going to take in. So again, thinking of these effects that they could have on us long term. So water, we talked about. Trying to eat our meals, stay in our regular routine throughout the day. Again, if it's a meal party, then maybe you just have a little snack before you go. Again, just something to kind of get the digestive system going and keep it moving. Maybe to have a little bit, if you know it's going to be more of a sweets and treats kind of junky food kind of party, then maybe you load up on the fruits and veggies during the day to get those healthy foods in your system to again give you that good base before you go in and overindulge. And just speaking of our next step of routine, because we talked about our nutrition, we'll come back to food in just a sec. We'll tie things in, but within our routine, get your workouts in. If you're going to a party that night or during the day, get your workout in. If your workout is in the evening or something when the party is going on, modify the schedule somehow. Again, you'll probably know when these activities, these events, these parties are going to happen. So we have to do some planning. That's what we're talking about tonight, is planning. So you do some planning in advance to know what you need to do that day. Do I need to do a morning workout that day as opposed to an evening one or an afternoon? Or should I do go for a walk maybe before? Can I walk to the party and walk home? Maybe I can get some activity in on the way there and on the way back to help, again, the body feel a little bit better. But try to stay in your routine as best you can. Again, day of, with our water and our nutrition and our exercise, because then the body feels good. You know how you feel when you get your workouts in, right? Your body feels good, you feel energized, your posture is good. And again, if you're feeling good, you're probably going to make, hey, Relentless Boxing, you're probably going to make better choices when you get to that holiday party. You're going to have good food. You're going to eat a lot of the good food and maybe not as much of the junk food. And again, I never say to zero things out and not have fun. We want to enjoy ourselves a little bit. But again, it's trying to make the best choice we can when we're in that moment. So get those workouts in. And the next day as well, get that workout in. Make the plans to have that workout the next day. Again, if you're a morning person for your workouts and you know you're going to be up late at that party, maybe enjoying a bubbly pop or two, then again, make the modifications for the next day. Have things ready to go. Or again, modify the workout that day. Or maybe it's just activity and not a workout. Again, maybe modify the intensity that day because you know maybe you won't be in the shape to do a full 100% intensity workout. Again, look ahead to some of these things and we can make modifications, but that help us stay on track. So that again, in our minds, we know, you know what? I got my workout in this morning. I went to a party. I had a great time and I'm all set to do my workout tomorrow. It's going to be a little modified, but I'm still getting in. I'm still checking that workout or activity box off for the day. That builds confidence. That builds competence. So then you keep going and keep progressing forward so that you know you can work through some of these obstacles, these hurdles that come up. We shouldn't have to give up our social time to have a healthy lifestyle, but we should be able to have the two work together. But again, we just need to plan and modify and adjust accordingly when some of these things come up. And that's all it is a little bit of planning. Just like you plan, if you're planning a party and are having people over, you're going to plan the food, you're going to plan the time, you're going to plan the music, you're going to plan the maybe decorations, you're going to plan the guest list, you're going to plan a bunch of things. So if you're hosting the party or attending, you still want to plan and have a plan going into it so you can, again, come out of it good on the other side and stick with your routine as much as possible. Because for a lot of us, if we miss a day, that negative self-talk creeps in, and then a day could become 2 days, could become 3 days, could become a week, could become a month or two, where we get into that negative snowball of not doing what it is we need to do or making poor choices, like we said, even a couple days after the party because of maybe some choices we made before and during the party that we're at. So just to again reiterate, and a lot of these again I'm going to talk about a couple different events, but a lot of these will be the same for it. But I want to think of hydration, nutrition, your workouts, all trying to stay within that routine as best you can and looking ahead to the party. We talk about our goal setting. Maybe look at the party as your date and work backwards. What do I need to do to really enjoy myself at the party? Maybe I should work back in the week of. Maybe I should really eat super, super clean as best I can. Very healthy and clean and get sleep and drink lots so that when I get to the party, I don't have to worry about it. I can enjoy myself. But at the same time, I've taken the steps so my body feels good, my mind feels good, that I don't overdo it or make too many poor choices. I don't overindulge or binge on things so that, again, it doesn't affect me post-event for too long. So those are kind of the main steps for that one. But again, parties, lots of parties, holiday home parties, and we'll flip into office parties, which could be similar and at your home, but they could also be going out somewhere. A lot of times places will go to a restaurant or have something catered where you get together and have your office party. So similarly, the main goal is to try to stay on your routine as much as possible. Staying hydrated, staying on your regular eating routine, and again, try to have something before you go. So if you're going out to dinner somewhere or even going to someone's house, again, have a snack before you go so your body feels full, you make better choices. If you're going out somewhere, try to look ahead. Most places now you can find the menu online. Sometimes you'll have a pre-selected menu if work's maybe paying for things. Maybe they'll have a few dishes available, or if it's a buffet. But typically, if you know where you're going, you can kind of call ahead or look it up online and get their menu and see what's there for choices to, again, try to make the best choice possible. So maybe the company is providing something for you, but maybe you can order a bit of a side salad. Maybe you order a pitcher of water to have at the table for you and whoever wants some as well, to again kind of balance out those holiday spirits and things that you're having. But you can look ahead again, plan ahead, look to see what's there. So you know when you get there, okay, I'm going to have this meal, and then I'll have other treats and things along the way. But I want to make sure I have a good, as healthy as possible meal at this place. And again, if you can't choose what you're having, if it's provided or they have it, again, you just do the best you can. And again, try to make good choices along the way. That's why the routine, trying to stay in that routine, is so helpful, because again, it helps us perform better at the party, because we're making better choices in the sense of how much we're taking in and what we're taking in, or trying to maybe balance some treats with some good food, having maybe some good foods first if there's veggie trays or something, for example, or appetizer salads, and then get into the treats after, or maybe have your healthy snacks, your meal, and then have a little bit of a treat afterwards, because again, the body's going to feel full. It's not going to want so much of that kind of treat food, because you filled it with good things, or as best you can in that moment. So office parties, again, having lots of water. Again, if you're having drinks, have a water after every drink as best you can, to stay hydrated, to again feel fuller, so you don't overdo it on those party snacks too much, and to just be able to again feel good the next day, not have that hangover, and again have energy to get back to that routine the next day. Yeah, me too, Andrea. Andrea says, I love a great veggie platter. I've been getting more and more into them as I go to events and just have them around. They're so nice. Again, I try to go more to those, or at least balance it out with having those and a little bit of a treat here and there. But a nice veggie platter with a little bit of dip, little dip here and there is nice too. But again, it kind of balances things out. And then what I try to do is find the person who likes the things that I don't like in the veggie platter. I'm not a peppers fan, and usually there's some kind of pepper or something. Or if there's mushrooms, I'm not a fan of those really. So I try to let them have that, and I find usually broccoli, cauliflower, people nibble, but it's not maybe super popular, and I like those, so I grab them and just dive into those as well. So yeah, it's nothing like a great veggie platter at a party. Really enjoy those, and it's just easy to kind of nibble on, and again have some healthy balance at least come in as best you can. So again, that's kind of parties, both kind of you're hosting or at a friend's place, Christmas party, and kind of a workplace party. Thinking of those same strategies to keep you kind of in check and on routine as best we can. Another thing to think of is shopping. Christmas shopping, holiday shopping. You're going to be in the malls, out of the malls, in and out of different stores, different probably drier air, still stagnant air, maybe because of heat and things going on, all the people being around. As of now, we still have our masks on, so you're breathing in that air and having the filter, but the cover of the mask on, you can sometimes make people feel a little more dry in the air as well, that we can kind of have to deal with. So again, we want to prep for that as best we can. So again, like we've said from the get-go, lots of water that we have with us to stay hydrated, to again compensate for that dry air, that heat. Maybe we're sweating a bit if we're coming from the cold and into the heat, and we leave our stuff on while we're shopping, because you can't really hang up your coat and hat anywhere with you. So it's easy sometimes to overheat a little bit. I find for me in stores like that, I don't like to carry my coat around, because I'm worried I'll set it down somewhere. So I usually unzip it, but leave it on as I'm shopping and looking around. So I tend to get a little warm in places. So again, having that water with you, staying hydrated is so important. And again, we talked about it last week, eating before you go shopping, whether it's grocery shopping or even shopping for gifts, like a holiday shopping. Again, a lot of those malls have food courts, and those food courts tempt you in with the smell of the Cinnabon or the fast food or whatever it is. So if we stay hydrated, that's going to help us, again, make better choices. And if we eat before we go, again, we're not going to be so hungry. Maybe we won't be so tempted to go into those fast food places, that food court area, to maybe again have a little bit of that unhealthy choice that'll just bring us down a little bit. Again, we just want to do as best we can. Again, nobody's perfect. If you don't eat and have to grab something, and don't beat yourself up about it, just try to plan for the next time, or maybe look and see what could I have done to maybe not have to go to get that burger and fries when I was at the food court or at the mall. What kind of drew me in? What did I maybe miss out on that I could avoid the next time? Because you save a little bit of money and it's a little healthier for you as well overall. So it's kind of a win-win. So you want to look at those. Again, it's all about planning and strategizing. And it's sort of off topic, but kind of related. I see a lot of it at the store where you can see people that don't plan. We've talked about it here too. Don't plan their shopping trips. There are still lines at the stores. There are still different things and protocols that people have put in place. So there's still not really a quick trip. Things are opening up a bit more at our place now. So it'll be a little more regular or back to normal. But again, there's no really quick trip now. You've got to plan in and budget in because you never know what could come up at the store and what regulation people have to deal with, or maybe someone that doesn't want to comply is delaying something from going on, or again, weather and things this time of year. You never know what's coming up. So the more we can plan our trips out, just like when you're going to go shopping, you're going to make that list of the things you want to buy and for who, so you don't double up on gifts or do too many things. You want to plan and make your list for the day. Do I need to pack a snack? Do I need to eat before I go? Do I have enough water with me? Do I have my water bottle before I go? Have that kind of checklist. Do I have my mask? I have my keys? I have my wallet? I have my water bottle? I have my snacks? I have my cooler bag or my lunch bag, whatever. Okay, I'm good to go. And the nice thing with this time of year, which isn't so nice, it's cold. But again, you can throw stuff in the car and maybe not worry about it. You can throw a lunch in the car and it'll stay cold for you for the most part. You can keep things cold and refreshed without having to worry about them overheating like you would in the summer. So again, if you're going from store to store or a few different places, then you can nibble on some healthy snacks in between during the car ride. Again, make use of the time, staying healthy, making those good choices, getting those nutrients in you, and making use of your commute as well. So thinking again of shopping, having those plans in place as best you can. And again, even if it's just gift shopping, still have something to eat before you go, just to stay, again, satisfied and stay hydrated as well. So that, again, you don't make those, you're not tempted as much to make those poor choices as you go in. And just another event I kind of thought of as well, something that may be common, depending on your point of view, could be outdoor trips. Maybe you're going out to cut down a Christmas tree. Maybe you're going cross-country skiing or snowshoeing once the snow comes. Maybe you're going out for a hike. Maybe you're going out for a sleigh ride as Christmas approaches, again, if there's enough snow. Things like that, wagon rides, sleigh rides, different things. There's different outdoor activities going on. I know Park Place here in Barrie, they usually run different things. Maybe you're going where you are, maybe they're having the Santa Claus parade this year. We're not here in Barrie again because there wasn't enough time to organize it once it was kind of approved to have. But maybe there's a tree lighting ceremony or an outdoor festival. Barrie does a great job with their waterfront, having a light display and a path and trail you can follow. So maybe you're outdoors, but it's a beautiful spot, but we're by the water. So maybe it's windy and it's cold. So again, you got to plan and think out of those outdoor trips where you need to layer up, dress appropriately, and again, hydrate before you go, during and after. And then maybe know where the washrooms are for you. If you have to go for anybody, make sure you know where you can get that restroom break if you need it. But plan accordingly, and again, have a snack before you go so you feel better. Your body's digesting, it's working a bit. That'll help you stay warm. That'll give you energy to do the hike or walk the trail or do the activity, whatever the case may be. And yes, Andrea mentions here, great point, Andrea, sunscreen. Even on overcast days, there's still UV rays that come in, and the sun can reflect off the snow. Sorry for my bad language tonight, but the sun reflects off the snow and things as well. So you want to have your sunscreen on to protect yourself as well. Thanks, Andrea, for throwing that in. And your layers, your hats, your mitts, maybe something, a warm base, and then a windbreaker over top if you don't have a winter jacket to break some of that wind and keep that chill from getting into you. And then again, plan out what you're doing, because if you're out of some of these events and places, they'll have vendors, or again, you'll be downtown doing something and there's a fast food place here, or there's this place I could go grab a quick burger or a quick bite to eat. And then again, you're maybe back into that poor choice. So planning as best you can. Have snacks, have a meal, have lunch packed with you. Maybe you can incorporate a bit of a picnic into the day if the weather isn't too much of a concern, or you can make that part of the event where you bring a lunch and eat it. You maybe just sit in the car and have a snack before you go uh, into that event, and put your sunscreen on before you get out and that sort of thing. Again, bring water with you so you're hydrated. It's tricky sometimes to drink water because we're cold and we want warm things. But again, that hydration is so important. Even on cold days, we do lose fluid. Again, as we sweat, we lose heat in our extremities. So we do want to keep that water intake up for us to, again, help the body and the mind perform the way it's supposed to think clearly, to be able to enjoy what it is we're doing, because the body and the mind are working and doing what they need to do to perform and repair and prepare for the next activity or thing that it is that we have going on. So those are sort of the four sort of main things I thought of that would come up this time of year. Things to keep in mind to help all those. We kind of talked about them as well, but think of sleep, again, hydration, food choices. So trying to eat as well as you can. And then again, the majority of the time, I try to recommend 80-20. At least if you're eating well 80% of the time, that 20% isn't as detrimental. Obviously, as clean as we can is ideal, but we want to be able to enjoy ourselves. And again, we can't always dictate what's around for us if we're at some of these events or activities. And we want to think of ways to help our stress. The holidays can be a very stressful time for us. So some of these solutions about being able to have success at a party and not throw off your routine too much, or when you're shopping or different things, they can help with your stress management as well. Eating well, getting enough sleep. We haven't talked about that too much, but we want to get our sleep, get adequate rest every night. Your hydration, your workouts, your nutrition, all these things factor into your stress management. And if you're stressed out about trying to get that perfect gift for someone, or deal with crowds at the mall and traffic, and budgeting and traveling and all these things, then you need to put in as much self-management tools as you can. So again, control the controllables, we say here. You want to be able to take as much of your health into your own hands, physically and mentally. So we want to work on that stress management. We want to keep our energy high. We want to be able to stick to our routine as much as we can during the day and at night, so we get adequate sleep, so our body can repair, it can adapt, it can adjust, and it can, again, re-energize and be ready for that next day with whatever the challenges might be for you. And to keep it in mind, if you're going out to some of these parties and events, you may have to adjust your sleep schedule a little bit. Maybe you sleep in a little bit, like a half hour or so later, just a little extra to make up for being up a little bit later. Try not to shift it too much, because then you lose a bit of the day and you can kind of feel groggy. But maybe an extra half hour to an hour is what I've kind of seen as a recommendation to kind of make up for a little bit of that time. And then again, the next day, get back into that routine, get back into that bedtime routine. Next day, prep, get a good night's sleep to, again, perform at that high level. We always want to come back to being operationally fit. That's what we're striving to be here. So we want to do as much as we can to keep that momentum going forward and not have too big of a roadblock come up at us. So we want to think of that as well. So a lot of us think of the eating and the hydration and the heat, but remember, there's a lot of stress that can come from either planning parties or attending or shopping or travel, traffic, busy malls, all those sorts of things, finances. All these things can affect our finances, or our stress levels, our mental health. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves that way as well. So staying in that routine, having a routine, and we've been talking about planning, having these plans in place for this party and this outdoor event and this office party and this shopping trip. All these plans, again, will help us because we kind of know where we're going. We have a plan, we have a routine, so it keeps us on track. We don't have to worry and be so kind of scattered about where we're going to go next, what's going to go on, what should we do, because we have a plan. And we may have to tweak and adjust the plan, but that's less stressful than trying to create something on the fly with a bunch of people around you at the same time, all trying to do the same thing you're doing. So again, physically and mentally, it's going to benefit us having that plan, those plans in place for all those different events and all those social activities here. Yeah, Andrea mentions a homemade gift is lovely too, for sure. My uncle is 78 and doesn't want or need anything. but said he would like consumables like gift cards for sure. That way he can grab dinner on a night when he doesn't feel like cooking, etc. Gas card. He also likes if we make him a banana loaf. Yeah, I would like that too. I don't blame him. My aunt knits for everyone. Yeah, we don't need bigger and better, and it helps take the stress out of Christmas for sure. And even for them, for like your aunt, she's knitting, so she's again taking some stress. So that's an activity, gets her mind off things. She can concentrate on what she's doing and that knitting, and then feeling good about giving the gifts to someone as they go through. So for sure, great point, Andrea. It doesn't always have to be commercial and big things. It can be homemade things and gestures and experiences. We can look at things like that as well to again maybe save our mental health, but also just to change the gift and give someone something that maybe lasts a longer time than an actual item. So great reminder there. And Andrea says her goal is to be done shopping by December 1st, and that way you aren't freaking out for the rest of the month. So true. It's a great plan. You see us. I'll say us because I'm one of them usually out kind of last minute trying to pick up those few things. I try to start a little early every year, but usually just one or two things, and then I kind of do the rest too close to the end of the last minute. And it's stressful. Again, people are out and traffic and tempers come up and patience is short. So it's a great goal. Andrea has a goal to be done by December 1st. So she can work from December 1st to today or whenever she started her shopping and try to plan things out, getting lists, who wants what, who needs what. Can I get need things instead of want things for people and get that plan in place? And then again, sprinkle in the plans that we talked about tonight to make sure it's a good experience for her and help her meet her goal of being done by December 1st. And then she can enjoy those holiday parties or movie marathons or whatever it is that we have to do. So great, Andrea. Thanks for sharing that with us. But again, I just wanted to mention that with the mental health aspect and the stress management, that's so important, that these plans and strategies that we can implement and we should implement can help us benefit by staying on track. And again, managing that stress, which is so important for us. Because again, if we're overstressed and tense, chances are we could fall off the wagon a little more too and not stick to that routine that's so important to us. And we want to make sure that we're doing as best we can for that. So that's it for tonight, gang. I'd love to hear from you about, thank you, Bonnie, about your maybe holiday plans, and in the sense of what we talked about tonight. What is one thing, maybe that was two, what is one thing maybe you could work on to help yourself have a successful holiday season, to plan to make sure you're getting the most out of your events, but staying on that routine and staying true to yourself and making sure that you do what it is you mean to do and you need to do as far as your goals and your outcomes are and your habits that you're trying to develop. What is it you can do? So I'd love to hear from you, even either in the comments here or if you're watching it on replay on any of the platforms, you can leave a comment and we'll see them and get back to you. And again, let's share with each other and help each other grow and evolve. Next week will be leading up to Remembrance Day. It'll be close to the 11th. So it'll be the 9th, I believe, is next week, or the 10th, sorry, will be next Wednesday. So we're going to talk about our gratitude sort of challenge that we started just after Thanksgiving. We decided to do some daily gratitude. What am I thankful for? What am I grateful for each day? And journal it and write about it. And so we want to have a little bit of a discussion about that next week. I'm going to share my experiences. And probably what I'll do next week will be a little more, I guess it always is, it'll be more me kind of leading. And then I'll just sort of give my experiences and some information. And then what I'm going to do is come back to the comments after the facts. When we go off air, I'll come back to the comments and kind of respond that way. So if I'm not mentioning you next week, don't take it personally. I see you there. I think we're just going to focus on the content and then and bring it back to more of an interactive, maybe chat discussion after the facts, that we can again, just get that information out there, not take up too much of your time, but then have a good discussion with each other as well. So that's sort of the thought for now. If anything changes, then we'll do another topic, and we can always move that back another week, because we could always practice another week of gratitude. So if anything changes, I'll let you know. But that's sort of the plan for now. Thanks, Andrea. Great to see you and have everybody here. Have a great night, everybody. Remember, always make yourself the priority you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Have a great night, guys.